All right, sorry for the late email. Good morning. Today is Tuesday, the 11th of April. Day number 62 of the course. Today you are to work on the chapters 8 through 10 jQuery pretest. I'm going to go over the directions for the test for the next 5 or 10 minutes. The rest of the class is for you to be working on the test and for pretest. And tomorrow I will go over the pretest. The actual hands-on test will be all period Thursday. As always, I will email you the test by 7:00 a.m. and it'll be due by midnight that evening. Friday will be a lab period. No taping will be done. All right, your chapters 8, and that should say 8 through 10 because we decided not to do anything else in 11. They'll be due this Sunday, the 16th. All right, so with that, let's take a quick look at the pretest. Now, what I've done is I've made this, for lack of better words, kind of a living document. In other words, pages 1 and 2 were the pretest back when we were going through chapters 4 and 5. Then 3 and 4 were the pretest for 6 and 7. So now what's here is the pretest for 8 through 10. Now, when you take a look at this too as well, I just want to, like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on this. Right now, you've got a fairly simple site that has 2 pages on it, a BMI calculator page and a guessing game page. I want you to add to that a contact.html page, and that contact page should have the following 10 fields in there as they're shown right there. You can see that out of those fields, the first 8 are all mandatory. I do want state to be a drop-down list that, as you can see, says select a state. All right, that's the initial value that's in there. So first name, last name, address, city, state, zip code, phone number, and email, they're all required fields. All right. In addition, I would like you to default gender to female or male. I could care less which one you default it to, but default it to one or the other. So as the instructions here say, let me make this a little bit bigger. You are to validate each field that contains a red asterisk, and you are to validate this using form validation with jQuery. Assume that all of those fields with the red asterisk are required. I've got their use a generic form field required constant. So just like we did in class, you can make a constant that says field is required or whatever you want to say for that. What I'm doing on mine is I've got a thing that says form field required, but before that, I'm adding the initial field. So in other words, mine will say first name, like first name required, last name required, address required, or required form field, or whatever. All right. Also, as it says in here, 4 other things that you should do. First, make sure that the zip code is validated, not only that it's there, but it's either 5 numbers or it is 5 numbers followed by a hyphen followed by 4 numbers. Create that using a pattern and test that using the test statement. All right, we looked at a couple examples of that in class. If you're confused as far as the pattern for part B and part A and part B, you can go out to html5pattern.com and you can find both of those. So make sure the zip code field is in a pattern. Make sure the phone number field has got a pattern. 3 numbers, a hyphen, 3 numbers, a hyphen, and 4 numbers. Again, for both of those, create an associated error constant. Not that says it's required, but it says that it's in the wrong format or something like that. The email field must also contain a pattern. Please use the one that's out of your textbook. Finally, as I mentioned previously, pre-select the gender field. All right, so either male or female is checked here. Really, the only one that you wouldn't have to put anything in would be right here, because the contact via, since it is set up with checkboxes, all right, you could have 0, 1, 2, or all 3 of these checked. It's up to you. All right. As always, if you have questions on this, I'll be online all morning. Please let me know. All right. Let's see. Okay. As it says, using what we did in class with redoing. So let's bring that one up. In class, we redid this. Hopefully you remember that. We redid it, the future value calculator, and we redid that using jQuery. All right, so basically there's no add event listener in there. There's no DOM content loaded in there. It's been replaced with their equivalents in jQuery. And what I want you to do next then is I want you to go back and literally make copies. So you will have 2 copies of the BMI calculator and 2 copies of the guessing game. All right. You can call one of those the one for BMI, just call it BMI jQuery.html and ggJQuery.html. And I want you basically to redo the logic for each one of those using jQuery. So the JavaScript file you have will be using jQuery for each one. You can do those each with their own file. That's what I did. Or you can do them all together, however you want to do that. Finally, in addition, take a look at this extra 9.1 modify an image swap application. You don't have to do anything with it. That said, all right, that said, if we take a quick look at it here, this is the one. There's going to be something similar to that I'm going to ask you to do on the test. So remember, if nothing else, if you don't have time to look at it, you might want to make sure you know where that is. All right. And we did this one, looked at this one as a class. All right. And you're going to be asked to do something similar to this on the test. All right. Again, I will be online for the entire period today. If you have any questions, please let me know. Tomorrow, I plan on starting at 8:05 and going over this pretest for as long as it takes. The rest of the period then tomorrow will be a lab if there's any time left, and there probably will be. On Thursday, we will take the hands-on test. Again, I will make sure that you have that test emailed to you by 7 a.m. You will have all period to work on it. The test will be due by midnight Thursday evening. Friday will be our typical lab day. All right. And the last thing quickly to show you, just so you have some kind of an idea, sometimes people want to know this stuff. And that is if I go back out here to, guess I don't have Red Shelf open. So next week, so beginning next week, what we will be doing then is we're going to go through a lot of material next week, because after this week, of course, we've got only 15 days left. So what you can plan on next week is us going over 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Some of these we're going to hit harder than other ones. What do I mean? We will go over chapter 12 and chapter 13 on Monday of next week. On Tuesday of next week, you can count on us going over 14, 15, and 16. I'm not going to hit everything in 14 and 16 real hard, just so you know that. We will do some problems with that. I'm still not sure exactly what I will be assigning from there. All right. Then the week after that, we will go over some of the work in 17, 18, and 19. All right. And again, some of it will go over more than others. In addition to that, in that week, we will be doing one last project. You won't have to turn it in, but it'll be a project using what's called React. And actually, we'll look at something at some of the components of what's called the MERN stack. All right. And we'll be doing that. So that's what we have left. All right, again, I'll be online all period. Any questions, feel free to email me at jpscott@rankin.edu. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.